Hello YouTube, this is Thierry from Thierry Outdoors. This is my first movie ever that I'm going to upload to YouTube. My channel is going to be obviously called Thierry Outdoors, and the first video that I'm going to do, the video review, is going to be about a piece of equipment that everybody needs when they go trekking or camping, wild camping. In any survival situation, you're going to need something like this, and basically it's the piece of equipment that's going to allow you to actually carry the rest of your items. And basically the piece of equipment that I've chosen is actually the French Army F2 Molle backpack, Rucksack, or F3 as some call it, which is the actual piece of equipment that the French Army uses with the frontline infantry units. Now to the backpack. Okay, this is the monster, 120 liters worth of, containing, it can contain up to 120 liters of volume, with two additional pockets each of 20 pounds, so as a total we're talking about 140 liters. As you can see, it's camouflaged Central European French Army camouflage, which is pretty decent in terms of looks of it, as well as efficiency, because it's able to actually cover most of Central European, even including obviously the United Kingdom. The major advantage of this backpack is basically the quality that it's been made of. The cloth they've used is Cordura 1100, and it's been rated at 1200 when it's brand new, but it's really a fantastic quality backpack, because you can literally take it anywhere, it will not break down on you. The three major items that you can see are basically the cover itself, which has got a few pockets which we'll talk about. The front, this is something new, the front loading panel, the top loading, which is in between these two here, and then you've got the lower part, which is 100% waterproof, where you will put your sleeping bag mainly. This bit is, as I said, 100% waterproof. You can literally put it in water for hours, and it would not in any way, shape or form get a single drop of water inside of your bag, of your sleeping bag. Now the quality of it is really fantastic in terms of, I don't know if you can see those stitching that have been done obviously automatically. It's not being done by by somebody operating a machine. It's mainly, I think it's computerized, because the precision of the stitching on there is absolutely incredible. The quality of the material is, if you look at this here, you can see that, I don't know if you can see the shine, if the camera will show you this. The Cordura is on the outside, and it's coated with a water resistant membrane on the inside, which covers all of the inside of the backpack. And we'll see a bit later on about other things that this backpack offers, but I think this is basically, this is not in any way, shape or form your assault backpack or rucksack, or whichever you want to call it. This is basically when you are walking long distances. It's mainly an infantry backpack. When you're walking long distances to go to combat, obviously this is how it's used in the French Army, but for us it will take out all your gear, because I think that 140 liters as per volume is absolutely gigantic, and it will allow you to put in absolutely each and every item that you really need in a survival situation or backpacking situation, camping situation, wild camping. It will cover all the aspects. We're going to go now and we're going to look at the backpack, section by section, and then I will remove these two additional pouches that actually will fit on something that's called the assault vest, which I will show you in a later review, to see what's actually behind it, and you'll see that this backpack is absolutely fantastic in terms of the way it's organized. Okay, we're going to start with the top section of this backpack, and you will notice immediately that it's got Molle compatible webbing on the top, so that you can actually put on pouches that are Molle compatible. You've got also these straps, and please bear in mind, one thing that I've noticed with this backpack, each and every one of the straps has got this small Velcro strap itself here, so in order to avoid having these, straps dangling around, creating danger of getting caught in branches or any rock or something that might make you lose your step and fall or hurt yourself in any way, shape or form. They are very, very well equipped that way. So this is the top of the cover, and the buckles are all very high quality kind of plastic or whichever other material that they've used. I'm going to look at the pouches that are available in there. One of the things that I've noticed that I like really, really a lot about this backpack is the fact, notwithstanding the fact that I'm French, but when you look at the back of the backpack, you've got a pouch here which actually contains something that you will appreciate, I'm sure. It is 100% waterproof. Oh, sorry about this. It's a bit of talcum powder that I put on there to avoid it being too sticky. Actually, this is a cover that will cover 100% the whole of the backpack. Cover it that way, and then basically, it's got attachments so that it doesn't, get loose. All you do is literally just put it in a bowl like this, stick it in there, and you could also use this as well to put a bit of items in that space that you have that's available to you. All the zips, I don't know which makes they are, they've got that type of, I don't know if you can see it. Can you zoom in, please, my dear assistant? Can you zoom in on the strap here? Can you see that graphic that's there? Looks a bit like a tulip. I don't know what make it is, but it seems that it's very, very, very high quality. They all are like that, and they're all underneath a flap that will allow it to actually, be covered and avoid the water coming in. One thing that I've noticed is that you've got this hydration pipe or tube opening that's there, but also, can you see this here, there and there, so that either one of the two pouches or the backpack itself can carry the hydration bladder, and it will be inside the backpack or on the pouches in case you want to use your hydration bladder on your assault vest. As I said, I will do a review on that later on. Okay, we've just seen the flap or the cover. This is the inside of the backpack, and as you can see, you've got a very sturdy cord system that allows you to open something that's done off. Again, this bit is 100% waterproof again. It's very heavily coated, very, very resistant to tears. I've put a few items in there that I will do some reviews on later on because I needed to be able to show you the backpack as clearly as possible. As you can see, if you look at the size of the thing from the lower part, can you see the lower part of the backpack? Okay, from the lower part up to this size, I don't know if you imagine, but that's 120 liters, and it's absolutely humongous. Now, are we on this bit here? Thank you.
No.
Okay, so this bit is actually where you can load the top of the backpack from, and we'll see a bit of the inside later on. But I'm going to continue down. Now, obviously, it's got a system where you pull the cord, close it, pull the buckle, get it there, stick the cord inside, cover it with a flap, which is like, practical standard stuff. But then we get to the more interesting thing, and I think I'm not sure, but I think it's a unique feature of this backpack. There isn't any other backpack that I know of that does the same thing, and we're going to see it in a second. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the central front part. Already a zip with an opening with a slight small pouch here. As you can see, I can put my whole forearm, almost all my forearm up to the elbow here. Mainly cards, anything that you need to have access to quickly and easily without having to open the backpack in order to get the contents of your backpack wet. You can have access to that, and obviously it's covered by this flap here. A couple of, obviously these are, the bits that will hold the cover in place. still strapped with that Velcro bit that actually makes it neat and clean. And then you've got two straps here, one that's visible, one that's a bit less visible, that I'll show you later on when I remove these pouches. On each side you can put walking poles, a hatchet, anything that's long that you need to carry with you, you can put there, and obviously the Molle webbing. Now, this is the unique feature here, which is the fact that this bit here opens up as a front panel and will allow you to have access to the contents of your backpack from the back. Obviously, I've got my tent in there just to give it a bit of volume in order to show you all the contents. Obviously, if you just lay it on the ground, look inside. This is the inside panel that will make it a bit less prone to water going inside the backpack, but that I'll show you from the inside. And as you can see, with a tent, a four-person's tent, I still have quite a brand new tent, by the way, which I'll make a review later on. I still have quite a decent size on the side here, and then obviously I've got the top up to here, which is a lot of volume that I can fill with equipment. I think that this bit here is one of the most attractive specifics of this backpack that will make people like it. And by the way, you can find this backpack if you look for a website which is Eric, ERIC-collections.com. It's a French veteran who's been wounded in operations, who's running the company that sells these. Obviously you can get them second hand, but as you can see, this is a second hand backpack, but it's absolutely fantastic in terms of quality. I think it's been used maybe once. You can get them for something like, I think it's 90 or 100 euros, plus obviously the postage. And it's absolutely fantastic in terms of quality. The guy's name is Mr. Enderlin. If you feel like contacting them and seeing their website, eric-collections.com, sorry, eric-collections.com. So this is the front panel, as I said, two zips. You can keep the zips in the lower part, which is, I think, the most wise solution, because obviously, those flaps are a bit awkward to work with because they're very, very tough. So it makes it a bit harder to work with them if the backpack is not filled to the brim, really. But the moment you've got all your equipment in there, there's no problem whatsoever. Now, I'm going to move on from this bit and I'm going to show you these pouches. At least I'm going to remove one of them. It's not very easy to do because it's not supposed to be done on the move, but I'll see this in a second with you. Okay, this is one of the two side pouches. I've chosen this one because it's got two pockets actually. There's two zips. There's one that goes all around and a smaller one on the outside, which gives you access to a smaller pouch with a bit of, smaller separations in there to keep things in place, like maybe mag light or whatever you want to do. However, the bigger pouch, and I'm going to open this now, the bigger pouch has got quite a lot of space in there, and I'm going to show you this. I'm going to turn it around. Here is the hydration, tubing opening that allows you to have your hydration bladder in this pouch. I'm not going to do open up the other pouch, which is pretty similar. It would be senseless. But this is 10 liters worth of volume. Again, two zips that will allow you to close them whichever place you like to close this pouch from. And now I'm going to remove this pouch to show you a bit what's behind this. Now obviously this is a bit more difficult to do. I'm not going to remove it completely, but I'm going to just remove two buckles out of the four so that you can see what's actually behind them if you want to use this without those two side pouches. As you can see, again, there was this strap that I talked to you about earlier, which will allow you to actually, put in a hatchet or walking pole, with the pouch that's down there that will allow you to hold the head of the pole or the other way around. You've got two major straps, I think it's 100 centimeters straps, and then the two Molle, the Molle webbing again, that will allow you to attach any kind of equipment that you want to have on this pouch. I'm going to put this pouch back up in place, and I'm going to show you after that one of the other very attractive things about this backpack. Okay, stay with me. Okay, Now to the bit that I think is the most interesting one, as well as the front loading side of things. It's the back. And obviously there is a reason why this backpack weighs 4.5 kilos, and as I said, it's the quality of the materials that they've used, which is absolutely, I would say, a tank in terms of backpacks. However, we're going to go back to the more important thing as well. Okay, the regular carry handle, which you obviously all know about. However, there is this handle here that's been used, you know, somebody gets hurt, somebody falls, somebody, you know, gets wounded. This is a handle that runs along all the back of this backpack that will allow a rescuer to actually pull you back through this without having any problems, or having to remove the backpack off of you first before pulling you out. Other things, the shoulder straps, as you can see, it's absolutely humongous, the amount of padding, and trust me, when you put this on, it's great in terms of comfort, no problem whatsoever. Tension straps on the top that will keep those obviously straps, those shoulder straps well tensioned, so that the backpack is well settled on your shoulders. Obviously you know that this is only to keep the backpack up straight, and all the weight needs to go down on your hips using the waist side of things here. Plenty of you know, buckles that you can use to attach equipment, be it this side or this side. Both sides have got that. Again, the famous little Velcro to avoid these flapping around. Thumb straps, so that when you're carrying this, it's a bit more comfortable to put your thumbs to pull this all this weight forward. A chest strap. I'm going to undo this to show you the actual bit that's absolutely gorgeous about this, and this is it. Now, this is modular in the sense that you can get these pads lower, so that if you're of a small build, medium build, large build, or extra large build, and as you can see, the padding is there, but because of this aluminium stands behind the padding, there will always be a space, and quite a significant amount of space, between your back and the back of this backpack, that will allow an airflow to allow you to sweat a little bit less. It's covered with webbing, obviously, as you can see here. It's quite moving, so you can really arrange it in a fashion that will make you feel at ease using this backpack, and you can carry the load, a heavy load, for a very long amount of time. The lumbar side of things, very thick, very heavily padded, still covered with mesh again, to avoid, you know, having you to sweat too much. And then, you know, belt buckle with quite a lot of padding again. Quite a significant sized pocket on the front here, with two small holes in the lower part to avoid, to allow the water that might, you know, fall in there to actually be evacuated. And basically here is something interesting, a very heavy duty buckle that will allow you to hang in something that's quite heavy. I don't know what it might be, but then here is something that's interesting. You can put in a hatchet there. You know, it's very, very, very sturdy. It won't break on you. So basically that's the outside side of things. I've got a couple of details to talk about on the inside of this backpack, which I'll show you in a second. Stay with me. Okay, this is my hands, so that you can see, you get a good idea of the top section of this backpack. It's already the size of most of the small backpacks, that even maybe bigger than the backpacks that people usually carry when they go having a walk around in a small wood, carrying their food, maybe a bit of drinks or whatever it is that you want to carry. So that's already on its own, it's already very respectable in terms of you know, size. Obviously the flap that covers this, and I hope that you can get this, is a bit, you know, it gives it even more you know, to hide and put things in. I'm gonna shut the camera for a second, and I'm going to show you the lower part from this side. Hopefully that you'll be able to see something out of this. Okay, Now this is the major compartment. On this side obviously you've got the front pouch. I don't know if you can see it, but here is the zip that will contain your hydration bladder. I think it can take up to 3 liters sized hydration bladder, with obviously the opening here to pass on the tube, the pipe, whichever you want to call it, and then the outside is literally through this here. And I don't know if you can see it well, but that is the lower part of the bag, with obviously the sleeping bag inside there. I'll show you this more in details from the outside. The inside isn't something very exciting, but still, you know, see you in a second. The lower part of this backpack, again, a couple of straps that you can use for multiple usage. Personally, I use the top ones for the mat, but you know, if you want to put it there, you've got the ability to do so. They will allow you to actually carry a few interesting items. These are actually the straps that will allow you to support the weight of your sleeping bag, and as you can see, this is an absolutely humongous zip. It's the biggest one I've seen until so far. I'm looking for the zip itself. 2 pockets, very useful to stick in the ends of any, you know, walking stick or maybe hatchet or whichever piece of equipment you want to put in there. I'll see you in a moment as soon as I get to find the zip for this one. Okay, this is my sleeping bag. As you can see, it's quite very large. It's actually an extra large sleeping bag, and that fits very easily into that pouch that's provided with the backpack. And basically I'm going to put it away. Here's the lower part of the backpack, and this is a little surprise. As I said earlier, 100% waterproof. You can literally dunk it to water just below the zip. It wouldn't get any water anywhere near your sleeping bag. Obviously nothing much very interesting there apart from the quality of the build of the thing. And this is the last bit of interesting stuff that comes with this, is that you've got a replacement buckle for each and every type of buckle that has been used when they did put this backpack together, even including the ones that will hold, I don't know if you can see it properly through the plastic here, even this one there, even the ones that will hold your drinking tube, you know, onto your shoulder harness. That is included. The main buckle, everything's there anyhow. So basically this will conclude my review of this backpack, which personally I think is the best backpack I've ever owned. I've got 3 or 4 there in the background that I have stopped using ever since I've got this one. But anyhow, you will see that this backpack is actually pretty decent in terms of carrying all your equipment around. One last thing that I forgot is the fact that this aluminium frame that's here you can remove, but I wouldn't advise to do so, because it's actually one piece that will actually allow you to keep the rigidity and the airflow on your back to avoid having, you know, sweating problems when you use this backpack. That's it for this review. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will hopefully see you soon. Do not hesitate to comment or ask any questions that you have. I remind you, I got this for I think it was 90 euros, something like that, from eric-collections.com. Very nice gentleman, fantastic team. I got this 3 days or 4 days after ordering it. Obviously these are second-hand ones. The brand new ones will get you back around 200 euros, so I think it is worth checking out that website. They don't only do equipment, they also do militaria and collectible items as well. It might be interesting to take a look at them. Thank you for for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you decide to do so. One last thing, the main aim of this channel is to do a lot of reviews of a lot of small things, bits and pieces that I'm going to be buying as per equipment that I'm going to be using in my adventures, and hopefully, you know, you'll get to see where I go camping, the tricks and tips that I can also maybe share with you if you don't already know those tricks. And see you soon in another video. Have a nice day, YouTube.